So now let's come to the end of this chapter. This is the last video. The next video will start like immediately with the concept of switching and then lab for the switching. So just directly a lab for that. How we will do labs? Well, right now in this period here, like in 2021, it's totally and very different from the years before, like 5 or 6 years before, because before and even like before 2015 or 14, most of the like students tend to use real gear, especially in the beginning of 2000s. And then there had something called an official emulator simulator from Cisco called the Cisco Pack Tracer that this video is about. And then there was something called GNS3, and after GNS3 there was something called EVAN-G, and then the PNet lab and the Cisco modeling labs. So even now, none of these is obsolete, none of them. So 6 different methods are available just to study a Cisco CCNA or even higher than a CCNA. Some of them are limited, like what? Like the Cisco Pack Tracer, the only official application produced by Cisco.com, yet it's limited to the studies and the technologies level of a CCNA, not for CCNP or CCIA at all. But for the real gear, of course, it's unlimited because it's real production from Cisco. They are real routers and switches that you might go to eBay, Amazon.com, or whatever other retailer or whatever you want on the internet, and you purchase like multiple used devices. Don't waste that money. You can do it if you enjoy it, do it whatever you want. I will not say no at all. Okay, you can do it in that way. Otherwise, you can use Cisco Pack Tracer for free, but only for CCNA studies, and I will tell you that. GNS3 is available for free. The images are not, but believe me, you will waste hours for every single software upgrade for GNS3 just to troubleshoot why there are new software bugs, why it became suddenly incompatible with my computer. Don't use GNS3. EVAN-G is extremely stable. You might install that once on your computer and leave it for 5 years without modification. It can be done in that way, no problem. And I have 1 hour of tutorial from zero to professional dealing with EVAN-G on my channel. It's a playlist called tutorials, and you will find EVAN-G in English. Click on it and watch that hour. PNet Lab as well have a tutorial on my channel. Cisco Modeling Lab have a tutorial on my channel. So what's not available on my channel? GNS3 and real gear, because I will not go and buy routers and switches from Cisco now, and I will just show you these in the camera that, hey, I have a router, you don't. I will not do it in that way. Like, I will not do it. Like, I will have a real connection, etc. No, I will not do it in that way. I will do it in methods so that you and I can achieve 100% the same approach using the same available tools, and that's it. So again, if you are interested about EVAN-G and PNet Lab and CML, all of these three have their tutorials on my channel, available in 2 languages, English and Arabic. Perhaps you're watching the video while one of them is still not uploaded. Perhaps you're watching the video at the time that all of them are uploaded in 2 languages. It depends on that. Just check the tutorial playlist and you'll see what's available. But all of them are being recorded in the same week that I'm recording this video, this very video, and that's it. So for the Cisco Pack Tracer, just before I talk about Pack Tracer today, this video is about Pack Tracer, just an introduction to the Cisco iOS operating system. This one is the unified operating system for most of the Cisco routers and switches. Most, not all, because there is from Cisco an operating system called iOS. It's almost obsolete by now actually, and there is an iOS XE. For study purposes, this is enough. iOS XE is heavy for study because it requires some conditions to work. There is something for service provider devices called an iOS XR. So on real devices worldwide, you will not find iOS. Only for study purposes, you will find iOS XE and iOS XR. And there is an operating system called an NXOS from Cisco as well. So 4 different operating systems are available from Cisco so that you would use in real life and in study as well. Okay, if you ever encountered a real live gear from Cisco, a real Cisco device, then the only way to configure that device for the very first time is to purchase a console cable alongside with the device that you have purchased. A console cable might have an RJ connection and a USB other end, or it might have a DB and an RJ on the other end. So this one This end will be the end connected to the Cisco device, where, well, it should be connected to a port called console port, and it has a light blue color. It might be called a console port, and it has a light blue color. You can see that. So you'll connect that end. This end is either in your laptop computer or in your laptop computer, so definitely this will be obsolete in the upcoming future. This one that's being live. And why don't I show you something? Because this is the only material left for me. I had so much connections before and cables, etc. So it looks like that this is an original one from Cisco. It has an Ethernet RJ connection for the Cisco device and the USB connection for your computer or laptop. Original ones have direct connection, does not require drivers to be installed, and this will reduce headache. So you will purchase a router from Cisco, you will connect it to the power cord via the AC power cord to the power resource, you will connect the console port to your computer, and then you will have to download and install a software called PuTTY. And a PuTTY is PUTTY, that when you download and install that, it will look in that way. You will click serial, and then you will define the COM of your computer so that you will log in to that Cisco device. Once you are there, you will be able to start configuring. All of that for real devices. If no real devices were there, then what should I do? What you will need to do is simply one of the emulators that I told you, like a Cisco Packet Tracer. So I want the Cisco Packet Tracer today. I will go to google.com and I will type Cisco Packet Tracer download. And the first option is the Cisco Packet Tracer emulating tool, and it's from the Net Academy of Cisco. Then I will click. This is the official one, and it's the Cisco Packet Tracer, etc. and things. And what I want to do is to download the Packet Tracer itself. So an introduction to the Packet Tracer. This one is a course, but what I wanted is not that one, not that one, like support, login support, account support, none of these, no, none of these, more, no, not the more. Let me go back. The Cisco Packet Tracer, Great Word Building, use the Packet Tracer. And before you are allowed to use the Packet Tracer, you will need to go to the Packet Tracer course. So Cisco are providing for you a 10-hour free course for beginners, which is a self-paced pre-recorded, and you'll even get a badge for that when you finish it. It's available in English and Russian, as I can see. This one is either Russian, Ukraine, or whatever. I don't know them. And after you finish this course, you'll be professional with Cisco Packet Tracer. But even before you finish that, you'll be able to download the Packet Tracer now. So let me download the Packet Tracer, and that would be, I think I need to log in first. Let me just try to log in using my user and password from cisco.com. If you don't have an account on cisco.com, you will need one. So I just logged in to Profile Sajjad, and again, courses that I have enrolled in. This one is a cybersecurity. Okay, it's in August. I will study that later. Good. View, continue. Packet Tracer. Click on the Packet Tracer. This course is the introduction to Packet Tracer. Download. Finally, my eyes are seeing something like download. I can even click, and now I can either click download for the 64-bit Microsoft Windows, 32-bit Microsoft Windows, Linux, or Macintosh. Click on that. Couple of next after the installation is done, and that's it. You have the Cisco Packet Tracer. So Packet Tracer that I want to run on my computer, and it should look like that. If it did not look like that, it might look even nicer, because I'm running version 7 and version 8 is out right now, so it would look like a little bit more elegant. And step number 2, it will not show up immediately. It will ask you to log in. So you will see this, and you will see a simple username and password, email and password that you need to log in. Type it, and the Cisco Packet Tracer will connect itself to the Net Academy, and you will be able to come here. So this will not be the end of the video, because I will have to give you a simple training on the Packet Tracer right now, a couple of minutes. Like below, you can see that we have a small section here, this one. This section is representing the different various nodes of Cisco available. This first icon representing routers, switches, and multi-layer switches. This second one is representing computers, IP phones, and servers. It's called the end devices. This one is representing different types of cables that you can use. And once you click on the group, you can click on the specific node below that. So if I chose like the first group of routers and switches, which is this one, then I can see a router with all the routers models here, a switch, and when I click on that, I will see different switches models. A firewall with all the different types of firewalls models. Let me prove that to you. I click on the switches and I see different types of switches. I click on the firewall, different types of firewall. If I go back to the groups and click on the end devices, I can see devices like PC, drag and drop a PC, laptop, drag and drop a laptop, a server, drag and drop a server. It can be done in that way. Why not? Home devices, because it supports Internet of Things, like a ceiling ceiling fan. Yes, I feel a bit of hot. We will not use that in this course. No, not at all. Let's say what that has a nice name. Yeah, wind turbine. Yes, a wind turbine. This is not our scope. Our scope will only be routers, switches, and end devices. So for routers, let me take an example like 2911, 2811, and that should be okay. An ISR of 4321. Good devices. When I go to switches group, 2960 is a good example. 3560, one of the best, and 3650 as well. All of these are different types of devices. If I clicked here a zoom, let me see them a little better, and click randomly on one of them, then you'll have this window. This window shows you multiple tabs. The physical tab show you how does this device looks in real life. Like it's a black router, and it does have this power button that it's clickable here actually to turn off and turn on the device. The Ethernet device ports, like let's say the console port. This is how it looks like. But if you want to console to it, then you need to click on the CLI here. So I will click on the CLI, and I have my device have just started running, but I will have to type options, go to options, preferences, font, and the font of the interfaces should be bigger, like 20. Apply, go again to the CLI section. Why not? If I clicked again, no. If I clicked on a different one, no, not that one. Preferences, font. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It says CLI here. Yeah, I should have used my brain. Okay, CLI. Now again, click on an ISR, and at least now it's a little bit bigger so that you can see it. And this is ideally, typically what you would see once you connect your PuTTY on your computer. Once you connect the console port, the console cable to the console port, and you go to PuTTY, you should see that on the real device. This is how a real router from Cisco would welcome you to start configuring it. It says, would you like to enter the initial config? I will type no in my keyboard because I want to type it. Press return means press enter, and now I am officially in a mode that is called the user exec mode. This one, you can see that we have here a router or a router, okay, with this symbol of greater than. This represents the name of the router, and on Cisco language it's called the host name. And this sign represents the mode that we are in right now, which is called the user exec mode. This mode allows you to do nothing at all. What I need to do is I need to move to another mode that allows me to do some things, and the other mode is called the privilege mode. In order to go or to navigate from the user mode, couple of enters, to the privilege mode, I will need to type the word enable, E-N-A-B-L-E, hit an enter, and now you see that the sign is changed to the hash. The hash indicates or represents that we are officially in the privilege mode. In the privilege mode, I can do so many things. How to know what can I do in this mode? By using the question mark. So I will type question mark, and as magic I just type question mark with no enter, and it's telling me what are the options, what are the operations I can do. I can type the command clear, and this command will reset some functions. I can type configure, and I will go to the config mode. I can type copy, I can type debug, I can type enable again. You see there are more things that I need to type or hit space in my keyboard. So hit space, and I can see more options are available. I can trace route. Remember trace route? I can ping, if you remember ping. So I can let's say ping something and hit an enter, and if connection was correct it will work. But this thing here, this mode, the privilege mode, is only to use some tools and express some things. Like what? Like show version. This command will show me the software version I'm using, which is ISR 4300. The version is K9 actually, but the version is mainly 3. Neglect the K9. It's 3.16.5. This is the main version that's being used for this device, which is an iOS XE. There are devices using iOS, other are using iOS XE, and there are iOS XR and an XOS, and so on and so forth. More info are available, so I will press or I will hit space to read more info, space for more info, even a couple of spaces to read more info. Show IP interface brief. What I have just done, I have just typed INT and it automatically completed. I did not type INTERFACE. No, I typed INT and hit it tab button on my keyboard. Tab. Show IP interface brief, BRI, hit a tab. This is called auto completion that is supported by Cisco devices. So you give a couple or 3 letters of a word, which is called, not a word here, each one of those is called a syntax. So I typed the part of the syntax. So the syntax interface can be auto completed by just typing INT. Brief by just typing like BR or BRI, like giving 2, 3 or 4 letters and then hit a tab so that it will be auto completed. Hit an enter, and I can see that my router contains 2 interfaces. Each one of them has the name of gigabit Ethernet, so the speed of it is a gigabit speed, 1000 megabit speed in 1 second, and that's it. And it's right now down. Don't worry, this chapter or this simple video is not to teach you the entire pack tracer nor the entire Cisco devices specs at all. You have 2 extra resources. Number 1, go to the Cisco pack tracer free course from Cisco that will consume 10 hours of your time, but it will make you professional with Cisco with the pack tracer. Number 2, continue with me throughout chapter 2, 3, and you will see that in every single lab video I'm teaching you what I'm doing. I will never do something automatic and I will assume that you know it. I will not assume that you have watched the Cisco pack tracer course of the Net Academy. I will not assume it at all. I will always show you, or I will guide you through my process, and this is what I'm doing. Something else before I forget, took multiple things, but something else, if I typed a command without completing the word, like with short syntaxes like show IP interface brief in that way, hit and enter, it will work. No problem, it can work. And another thing which is extremely important, this mode is only to show, to clear, to reboot, to ping, to trace out. This mode is not to configure, not to change the configuration of this device. In order to config something, I will need to move to the global config mode. I was in the user exec mode, then the privilege mode, now the global config mode. I need to type configure and then terminal. This command will move me to a new mode. You see, now I have the word config before the hash sign. This indicates that I am in the config mode. If I hit it, the question mark, now the commands supported are different. I can set so many things, like I can enable a routing process. Let's say I can configure NTP, I can configure a spanning tree, I can configure a radius, I can configure a login credentials, and so much more things. I can configure an IP address, etc. And we can do it in that way. In order to go back a step from the global config mode to the privilege mode, I will have to type exit, and now I am back to the privilege mode. If I wanted to go back to the user exec mode, I will have to type exit again, and I navigated back to the user exec mode. So from user exec to privilege, enable; from privilege to global config, configure terminal, and vice versa. When you go backward, you will need to type exit, exit, exit all the way. Or I will give you a simple hint, like en represents enable, auto completion is supported, conf t represents configure terminal without typing that all. If I was here and I want, like, if I went to another command, like I typed an interface gigabit ethernet 00, and now invalid interface number y, it was 000. I'm sorry, so the name of the interface is wrong. I will type the up arrow key to resummon the same command, 000. Now I'm in the config if mode, so I either type exit and then exit and then exit to go back to the exec mode here, or I type end, and this will take me back a couple of exits, and that would be nice. Okay, that looks much better. Everything of these specs cannot be declared here today. Seriously, it cannot be done in that way. We will need really either the Cisco Pack Tracer complete course to understand it, a minimum of 2 to 3 hours tutorial for Pack Tracer, or we can just stick with this course and start the upcoming video number 21, start chapter 2, and every single time Sajjad will lab something, at that time we will understand the new functions, new tools of the Cisco Pack Tracer. When you go to the slides, you will see the names of the modes, and you will see some of the commands that if you would like to play with, these commands, etc. And next, in chapter 2, things will be more exciting. This is the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2 is an old chapter that I recorded in 2019. But it has a good accepted quality. If you finish this chapter and watch chapter 2 and you saw that chapter 2 is a mess, it has a low quality video quality, voice quality, bad accent, nervous instructing, etc., not relaxed, not professional, tell me. If multiple guys said so in the comments of this video, then I might only, not just might, then I will re-record the chapter 2 again. Like chapter 2 is not that much, actually it's not that long. Let's say it's 4 hours, I think, in long, shorter than this one, but it contains labs. If you think that it's bad, then I will have to do a remake for that chapter as well. The old chapter 1 was a disaster, actually. It caused me to cry when I saw it again. Not to be proud, actually. It was nothing of pride at all. So I had to reboot the same chapter and re-record the 20 videos again. But for the next chapter, perhaps things are different, because at that time I changed my camera, my mic, I was better talking. Watch the second chapter and tell me what you think, okay? Thanks a lot for reaching so far. Thanks a lot for spending time with the first chapter. I hope that everything was complete, good, beneficial for you, clear for you, informative, and I hope to see you in the next chapter. And I hope that you would join the 300 plus past the certified person that have watched my certificates, my courses, I'm sorry, and passed their exams after they have finished my courses. Thanks again.